Steve Roberts now available. First question's from Alana. Go ahead. First question's from Alana. Go ahead. First question's from Bassett. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Dave, I see Muncy out there, so I assume his wrist is okay. That's not an issue.
Yeah, not an issue. I wanted to, he's back in there. I want to give Corey a day. So to get slide CT over, Muncy over, get Cody at first. So it just kind of worked. But yeah, he's fine.
Dave, I know you've talked about you don't want to guess who your opponent is in the first round, but how much of an advantage is it for you guys not to have to go anywhere else, and whoever you do play has to travel here, especially if it's somebody from the Midwest or East Coast?
Yeah, I mean, on the margins, I think it's certainly more advantageous. I really, don't get into who we're playing quite yet. It still could change, day to day. But I do think that the familiarity, us being at home, not having to get on a plane to go somewhere else, certainly is more helpful.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let's try this again. Go ahead, Alana. Next question from Mario Castillo.
Dave, good afternoon. What's impressed you most about Corey's season, Corey Seager?
It's just overall?
Yeah.
I think overall the consistency, both offensively and defensively, and that just kind of goes hand in hand with being healthy. I think that Corey has been open to adjusting his workload, pre-game, during the game, understanding whether it's an off day, whether it's a DH day like today, can prove beneficial. So just kind of all that stuff, but obviously the performance speaks for itself.
Defensively, you mentioned defensively. Where do you think he's made strides there?
I think, number one, I think we do a great job of putting guys in the right spots, but he's just, again, it's just the consistency of catching the baseball, making a good, accurate throw, putting his body in a position to make good throws. So going to his right, to his left, which in years past really didn't love and feel as confident going to his left. But I think that he's done a way better job with that, the ball coming in. So for me, just even on the defensive side, he's one of the elite shortstops in the game.
And what led you to settle on him being your two-hole guy?
I think just the consistency of the quality of at-bat. He's had a fantastic season. And I think to be able to get him up 5 times, the left and right splits don't matter. And so I just, the combo of him and Mookie and now JT 1, 2, 3, I think is as good quality at bat as anybody in baseball.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
Following up on that a little bit, Dave, why wasn't Corey the number 2 guy to start the season? Did he have to show you something?
Yeah, I think for me, I think it was more of Corey's a very aggressive swinger, but I think that I liked him last year in the 5 to when guys are on base, runners in scoring position, he's going to put the ball in play and make something happen. Where I think for me, there were just too many quick outs at the top of the order. So I just think that this year he's just done a much better job, in my opinion, of navigating. So having him there, Also, with Max and Cody just not really getting the consistent traction up to this point, just made more sense.
And looking forward towards the playoffs, what's your plan at second base?
I don't know yet, but I do know that CT is going to get a lot of playing time, and I can see him in there every day.
We haven't seen Kike and Gavin Lux there a whole lot recently. Have they kind of played their way out of those at-bats?
Well, Kike was there the last couple of days, I think, right? But no, I think that with Gavin, the question is still, I don't see him making starts at second base in the postseason. The question now, I think that having him on our roster, on the bench, coming in to play defense, run, taking at bat, getting the experience, I think is a question. But I think that right now where we're at, I think that, we have different options. But, with Kike, he's in the mix. He's right there too.
Put it bluntly, has this season been a disappointment with Gavin?
No, not at all. Not at all. This season, I think, is very unique to everyone. So I just don't think it's fair to the player to say that under all these circumstances and being late to summer camp and all this stuff, to kind of classify it as a lost or a wasted season or whatever.
You mentioned Muncy's wrist being fine with Turner and Rio.
Yeah, JT's fine. We'll see it where he's at today. Whether it's the thumb that was blown up last night, but he ended up hitting a couple homers, or the leg, which I think is getting better every day. I'll just kind of monitor and manage when we can kind of insert Eddie again. If that's even. Yep.
Next question's from Ken. Go ahead, Ken.
Dave, it seems like you're giving Jock every opportunity to get back on track, even though time's running out. Is there really time for him to get his swing back? Because he has been such a factor in the postseason in the past.
Yeah, I think that I am. And I think that Jock has earned that. Because of his performance in the postseason, and like kind of with Gavin, with everyone, it's been a unique year, and Jock's has some things that he's kind of dealt with that off the field that certainly occupy, his mind at times, and rightfully so. So I just want to give him every opportunity to try to get locked in, and, after tomorrow, then we'll sort of make a decision, because at the end of the day, we got to go with the guys that we feel gives the best chance to win.
Thanks.
Next question's from Rowan. Go ahead.
And Dave, where do you feel like Tony's made the biggest strides from last year?
I think Tony's made the biggest strides. To be quite honest, I think it's the work before his outings. It's considerably more focused, and just really understanding major league hitters and how to use his mix and how to get guys out. So I think the easy thing is to say that he's really gained confidence in his slider to go along with the changeup, but there's a next layer that I think is even just as beneficial as all that stuff on the surface.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Eric.
Dave, on the back end of the rotation with Tony going today, Dustin tomorrow, I know Julio pitched Wednesday, but given that the wild card doesn't start till Wednesday, does he have to throw simulated innings in between to stay ready, or does that kind of depend on what his role is going to be?
Well, he just threw a pen today, a very aggressive pen, which was really good. And so right now I think Julio is lined up for whatever we need, call it Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday.
I see. And then I don't suppose you're ready to reveal your game 1 and 2 starters yet?
Give us another day or two, Eric.
Thank you.
I got time for one more. Go ahead, Morgan.
Dave, you've mentioned, and with Will DHing yesterday, you mentioned that could be a factor in the postseason having him DH. Will you carry a third catcher?
It's a conversation. It's a conversation, and I think that If we do, Cabert's certainly at the top of the list. In the short series, 3 games, how we decide to use our 2 catchers, adds to that conversation, and then we got to make a decision. But I think it's more realistic in the 5 and the 7 game series versus the 3 game wild card series.
And just how do you feel with your catchers this year compared to years past? You got into the point now where you want to have both catchers in your lineup this year.
Yeah, I think if you look at I think this is as confident as we've been with the catching situation, and not to take anything away from Yasmani. I think that both our guys are playing really good baseball leading up to it. And behind the plate, in the batter's box, giving good at bats. I think the net is really good, and I have confidence in both those guys and on both sides of the baseball.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.